This Sunday morning, Gary, from that, do you think Andre Onana's days are numbered?
Look, he's in trouble. Leaving a goalkeeper out is never the same as leaving out just a centre-forward or a central midfield player. It creates a real tremor. Because I think once you get uncertainty in your goalkeeping position, that anxiety spreads all the way through the dressing room, through the defence, into the stadium. The keeper never feels fully valued. Again, I think there's that element of Ruben Amorim has got to the end of his tether. I think that it's mistake after mistake after mistake. He's made so many.
We'll get back to Gary in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D video hits. And as ever, if something is on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this clip, it's going to be Gary Neville talking about Andre Onana and his thoughts on whether or not it's time up for the goalkeeper. He's also going to be talking about Man United's terrible performance against Newcastle United today as well. So he'll be giving his thoughts on that. Stick around for after the clip because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on the Andre Onana situation. Here's Gary.
This Sunday morning, Gary, from that, do you think Andre Onana's days are numbered?
Look, he's in trouble. Leaving a goalkeeper out is never the same as leaving out just a centre-forward or a central midfield player. It creates a real tremor. Because I think once you get uncertainty in your goalkeeping position, that anxiety spreads all the way through the dressing room, through the defence, into the stadium. The keeper never feels fully valued. Again, I think there's that element of Ruben Amorim has got to the end of his tether. I think that it's mistake after mistake after mistake. He's made so many. And he's been very erratic, and that's the one position you need consistency and reliability. You can accept sometimes that a winger or a forward misses a chance, that happens, but for goalkeepers they have to be reliable, and he's not been. And what David's just said there is really true, that it's getting to the point now where who does Ruben Amorim like in that squad? Who does he want to keep? And he would have been hoping that his goalkeeper was one of them, but I think it's doubtful. It
doesn't feel like there was ever a time that he was convincing, does it, Robbie?
I mean, it's such a mess, isn't it? $61 million, as David said there. No, I mean, Bayendia has not played a Premier League appearance ever, and you're going to trust him to come in and a big game on Thursday in the Europa League. And this football club, as Gary knows, has had so many great goalkeepers. In fact, great players. So everybody that comes in there is kind of compared. And when De Gea kind of was struggling a little bit and everybody's saying, oh, we need a new goalkeeper, now they've made a big switch, and he's just nowhere near the level of previous United goalkeepers. It's another example of poor recruitment and another part of the team that needs addressing. You know, you can go through the whole squad. The previous awful recruitment at this football club is left in a position now, and it's kind of like, now it's a great example of a goalkeeper. It's like, well, what else are we going to do? So, I don't know whether they can just say, you know, he's not good enough, because, wow, that's it's a mess.
If you look at the three key elements of a goalkeeper, with the feet dominating in the air and then shot stopping, he's not as good as what he was made out to be with his feet. In the air, he's not dominant in and around him in the box. You can put balls on top of him and put him under pressure, and then actually shots bounce off him and go back into dangerous areas.
Tim always says he saves stuff.
It bounces back off him, and so there's three areas that he's not brilliant at any.
To be fair to Tim, I remember being at Old Trafford for his first game and Tim wasn't having him then, and I'm not sure he's had him since either, and it has been a rough ride for Andre. Said Newcastle United in fourth, but they play Crystal Palace with that game in hand this midweek, and if they can win that one, they go 2 points clear of Nottingham Forest and into third position, everyone having played the same number of games, it will be 6 to go. So they really are in a prime position. Gary, let's talk Manchester United. Where do you begin from that today?
Well, Robbie just said he wasn't surprised. I said at the sort of end of the game when he said, what do you think United will do? And I said, if Newcastle United play well, Manchester United will get beat. They're not a very good team. Simple as that. The biggest worry is there have been teams in the last 5, 6, 7 years at United where you thought they're very talented players, but they're not really giving it their all. The problem with this group of players is they're giving it their all. I don't think there's a lack of effort. They're so below the standard and quality that you need at that football club, all over the pitch. I mean, other than Bruno Fernandes, I can't really... Amad Diallo, maybe. I can't think of any of them that I would hang my hat on. It's a really desperate situation because the squad is so poor in quality. They've got old players, they've got young players who are nowhere near it, then they've got a sort of group of players in the middle who are It's a worrying situation.
And do you, Gary, still think that the system is going to be a problem for Amorim moving forward, trying to find players to fit in?
The system is a problem because I've asked this question for about 2 months. Who are the natural wing backs? Players that are good enough going forward, that've got great energy, that are good enough going back. Who are those players? Who are these 2 players that he plays in behind the sort of striker? They need a centre forward who's going to carry the line. Who's that player that's available that's going to go to Manchester United? Because there's 7 or 8 teams at the top of the league that need a striker. So you're not going to go to Manchester United in front of Liverpool or Arsenal who need a striker, or the other teams. Chelsea need a striker. So there's massive issues. And honestly, you just don't know where to start. You don't know where to build the sort of first step from. That's the problem at the moment. And there's a serious amount of time required and good recruitment for that club to get right.
Robbie?
Couldn't agree more with everything. I mean, times in the past when we've looked at teams that are struggling, you can kind of see ways back in. Different manager might made a couple of midfield players or a different striker. There's so many areas, every area, from the goalkeeper to the striker, to the wide players, to the central guys. Every spot of this team needs updating. We know what money they've spent recently. We know how difficult it is now with PSR and restrictions of spending. How long is it going to take to get the players required? System-wise, it's just more than the system right now. It's more than the system. Put that team in a 4-4-2, marginally better, maybe. There's a lot of talk about the system, and I hear you. Wing-backs, there's less kind of top wing-backs I feel like that's around in the Premier League and maybe other leagues as well, but it's more than that. It's more than that. They're still paying for the recruitment over the last, decade almost? And you can't just get rid of players you buy for a lot of money. You're kind of stuck with them.
Yeah, well, Gary makes some absolutely top draw points with regards to our goalkeeper, Andre Onana. It's not often that I wholeheartedly agree with Gary Neville on certain things. Usually, I think Gary Neville sort of misses a lot of points and he goes off on one a little bit and he's just a little bit negative. But in this instance, he's on point. I think it's time up for Andre Onana. He's had long enough at the club to show that he's going to get better. But, I mean, there has been some times where he has been a really good shot stopper. Fair enough. And he's made some excellent saves. But his mistakes are just weird. They're just weird. They're just, like, why is a professional goalkeeper who's on however many hundreds of thousands of pounds per week making bizarre bread and butter mistakes like that, and he just looks clumsy, and it's incredible, like the weird mistakes that he's making. And all those people out there, and I'm talking about you guys out there who criticise David De Gea, better the devil you know than the devil you don't, because there was nothing wrong with De Gea. He was just going through a couple of little patches, but we got rid of him, and now we've got Andre Onana, who's even worse. But there was nothing wrong with De Gea. We should have stuck with him. Tin Pot Ten Hag's fault, that. Do you know what I was saying today to my mum? I was saying, you know what? I backed Eric Ten Hag when he was the manager because I was sick of the manager merry-go-round. But now that he's gone, I'm glad he's gone. I'd rather have Ruben Amorim, even though he's doing worse. Imagine letting go a goalkeeper like David De Gea for free. For free. Imagine letting him go, and he was the Golden Glove winning goalkeeper in the Premier League that season, and replace him with Andre Onana for 50 million when we could have used that money to buy Harry Kane or something, because Harry Kane didn't go to Bayern Munich for a lot of money, not really. Oh, hey. I've got nothing personal against Andre Onana specifically, not personally, but if Man United are going to get back to the level that we are used to, we need a better goalkeeper than Andre Onana. I think back to the goalkeepers that we've had over the years. I mean, prior to Andre Onana, we had David De Gea. There was nothing wrong with him. Prior to him, we had Edwin van der Sar, probably our second greatest goalkeeper of all time. Prior to him, we had Tim Howard. I don't recall Tim Howard being as bad as this. Before him, it was Roy Carroll. Yeah, Roy Carroll wasn't great. But he didn't last long, you see, because Ferguson figured him out very quickly that he wasn't up to snuff himself. And before him, who was it? Was it Barthez? Well, Barthez won the World Cup. So, good grief. I mean, he had, you know, there was a couple of instances where he was a bit shocking, but he wasn't as bad as Onana. He can't have been. And then before him, we had Peter Schmeichel. So, no, I mean, Onana's had enough time in the sticks for Manchester United. He's just not good enough. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. I don't know what's going to happen moving forward, like in the sort of short term with regards to Thursday against Lyon. I mean, Binder didn't play great against Newcastle, but to be fair, that was his first ever Premier League start. I'd play him against Lyon, because the thing is with Binder, you don't have that panic feeling with Binder, and he seems to be an excellent shot stopper, and the performance that he gave against Arsenal in the Cup, I think he deserves a run out against Lyon, a little run in the side just to see how he gets on air, because Onana's probably going to get booed on Thursday, and I don't want to see that. He'll make one mistake and then 75,000 fans are going to jump down his throat like they did against Xerxes. And when Man United players do that, Man United fans do that, you know it's not a good situation. But hey ho, what do you guys think? Is it time up for Andre Onana? God bless him. Or do you think we should persevere? And do you think it's not necessarily his fault, it's just the fact that the rest of the team's crap themselves? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.